All set.
Okay. Well, good evening, everyone, and happy Valentine's Day. I can't think of anything more romantic than watching us on a Valentine's evening. But at this time, I would ask everyone to please rise for a moment of silent prayer and/or reflection as we continue to think about our military personnel at home and abroad. Please salute the flag.
Pledge
Pledge
allegiance
allegiance
to the flag of the United
United
States
States of
of
America,
America and to the
to the
republic
Which
for
for
which
which
it
it
stands,
stands,
one
one
nation,
nation, under God,
indivisible,
with
with liberty
liberty and
and
justice.
justice for all.
Thank you. The New Jersey Open Public Meetings Law was enacted to ensure the right of the public to have advance notice of and attend any meetings of public bodies at which any business affecting their interest is discussed or acted upon. In accordance with this act, the mayor and council of the borough of New Milford have caused notice of this meeting to be published by having the date, time, and place thereof posted in the Borough Hall, and notices have been sent to the Record and the Ridgewood News. The mission of this governing body is to provide essential services through the establishment and implementation of public policy that will safeguard the infrastructure, provide fair, honest, courteous, and professional services, establish a sense of trust and accomplishment between all residents, and through research and prudent planning, seek to minimize risk while improving our services. We are sensitive to the needs and satisfaction of our taxpayers, while realizing that this governing body cannot be all things to all people within the revenue constraints imposed by state mandates, economic conditions, and prevailing attitudes about taxation. Being that this meeting is being held remote, I need to read the following. All participants are muted during the meeting. Anyone wishing to make comments or ask questions can do so at such time as the meeting is open to the public for comment and during public hearings on any ordinances by hitting the button to raise your hand or by typing a message in the chat box. You will need to state your name and address for the record. Members of the public may also submit written comments for any future remote meetings by either email to cdemiris@newmilfordborough.com or a written letter to the borough clerk. Written comments must be received by 4 p.m. on the day of the remote meeting in order to be read into the record during the meeting. Members of the public commenting during a remote meeting shall not act in any manner to disrupt the meeting. If anyone becomes disruptive during the meeting, they will be muted. If time permits, the disruptive individual shall be allowed to speak after all other members of the public are provided an opportunity to comment. Any continued disruption may result in the member being prevented from speaking during the remainder of the meeting. Disruptive conduct includes, but is not limited to, shouting, interruption, and the use of profanity. At this time, I would ask the borough clerk to please call the roll.
Councilman Sandhusen,
Present.
Councilman Starkey Hurley,
Present.
Council President Duffy, Councilman Grotzky,
Here.
Councilman Seymour,
Present.
Councilman Grant,
Here.
Mayor Petrino.
Here. Okay. Under unfinished business, may I have a motion for the approval of the minutes from the January 24th, 2022 closed and work session meetings?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, under new business, item number 1 is a historic trust grant administrator.
Thank you, Mayor. There was something that was circulated earlier in the week about a grant that the Historic Preservation Committee is looking to submit. It is with the New Jersey Historic Trust. And the project that they're looking at, they think qualifies for the Special Initiative Grant, which focuses on the 250th anniversary of the American Revolution. 9 of the graves at the burial ground are for people associated with the Revolutionary War. Most of the tombstones have been identified by the plan as being priority number 1 for restoration and repair. And they would like to apply for a grant for that project. And let's see. The project is for 9 tombstones in the cemetery and aligns with the New Jersey Historic Trust focus and special initiatives. Based on previous estimates, it sounds like the project would not be more than $15,000 total. There is a 40% match for the grant, which would be a maximum of $6,000. The grants would be awarded and authorized for spending in 2023, so the match would not need to be available until then. I just wanted to bring this before the mayor and council before advising that they could pursue the grant. I wanted to make sure that there was no issue with providing for a match in next year's budget.
I think we
guys
should
think?
go forward with it.
I have no issue. Go forward.
I say go forward.
I think it's absolutely amazing that we have nine stones related to the Revolutionary War.
Yes.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
We also have a number of them for the Civil War as well.
Wow.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Excellent. Move on to item number 2 is capital budget. Councilman Grotzky, you have an update.
Thank
for
you,
us?
Mayor. The Budget Committee has met and we've pretty much finalized our recommendation on the capital budget. Since our last meeting, we've made some changes. I'll briefly go over that. Under building, it used to be 25,000 requested. We have now changed that to $3,000 that we anticipate funding through the Capital Improvement Fund. Under the Police Department, where it says radio repeater, that radio repeater will cover the middle school and also fire company number 1. And the actual quote was $1,000 less, so that will be $19,000. Again, we will fund that through cash improvement. And unfortunately, the last ice storm, one of the DPW trucks went down and now is inoperable. I believe it was in 1988, so we had to add $50,000 to replace that to the bonding fund. So in all told, the requests we've got for capital were $1,703,000 roughly. Through Capital Improvement Fund, we're going to fund $53,238, and we plan to bond $885,000. I mean, that's, Chris, do you have anything else you'd like to add?
The only thing I wanted to add was that the change for the building department was after we got some additional information. And it's good news for the capital budget because we're reducing that from $25,000. The not so good news is that we need to increase their operating budget because a lot of the expenses that they included in the 25 were not capital expenses, but rather licensing fees and data importing. So we're increasing their budget by their operating budget by $19,000 to cover the difference. That's all I wanted to add on that.
All right, the $3,000 you said was being added to the buildings and grounds. Where is that being added? Which line?
Top line, very first
Top
line.
line, instead of 2,500, it'll be 3,000?
Municipal management software, that's the
I see,
3,000. yeah.
okay.
Anything else on the capital budget? I know the budget committee is working hard. I know it is going to be a tough year. I know our revenues are not where they were before COVID, and I know that goods and services continue to rise in cost. So I know you have your job cut out for you, and I know that you'll be presenting something responsible to the council to go through and approve in the near future.
I do have a question. I read recently that the Hackensack YMCA is coming to New Milford, which I found to be very interesting, but I'm wondering, is that a nonprofit or is that a new business that will provide revenue, tax revenue?
It'll be a nonprofit, and they're
It
leasing
is a
space.
nonprofit.
They're leasing space at Ascension Church.
I thought they were purchasing it. They're
No,
leasing.
no, they are
Okay.
basically taking the space that the French Academy was in.
Okay, but it's still a
they-
nonprofit as opposed to okay,
Correct.
just wanted to
Correct.
double check.
Yeah, I was going to actually talk about that because I know the article came out in the Record. I actually have a meeting with the executive director next week. I'm gonna get a little walkthrough. They're very excited to be in the Milford. We're excited to have them. They want to talk about partnerships and community outreach, so I said
Sounds good.
that's wonderful. And I know there was a lot of speculation over the weekend about them housing people. That is absolutely false. there's no plans for anyone to be housed there. This is strictly adult and child educational programs and fitness, and, you know, it's gonna be a good fit for our community. You know, I'm very pleased that New Milford is attractive
I
for
agree.
businesses and organizations and very desirable to be here. So I think we'll have a mutually beneficial partnership with them going
I
forward.
think it's fantastic that they're coming. I really do. They do such great work for the community.
Just circling back to the capital budget, I just
Yes,
want
is
to,
everybody on board with this? Because Chris will need to prepare an ordinance.
Yes,
Yeah.
I just have one question for clarification. Under police pedestrian crosswalk signs, are those the lighted, what kind of signs will they be? Will they
Those are
be
the
the
ones that
lighted?
press the button and it lights up. Yes, we're getting 3 of those.
Okay, thank you.
I do have a question about the library. The windows are not being funded this year. Is that correct? I mean, they've been
That
asking
is-
for new windows for quite a few years. At some
it's
point, I
something
do hope.
it is something that I talked to Vince about, and although it's something that they have been asking for a number of years, it's definitely not an urgent situation in any way.
Okay. And the other.
We are
items-
doing other things for them. And they do have monies left over that they're going to be using.
Right, and I see you've increased their budget a bit, but these items that you have listed here will be coming out of that budget. So the increase will cover these things.
It's actually coming out of money that they had left over for
Over
2020.
last year.
So if there's no objections, I'm going to have 2 ordinances prepared for our next meeting. One would be a bond ordinance, and the other, the ordinance to fund things through the capital improvement fund.
Thank you.
How does the total capital budget compare to last year's?
I believe this is higher.
I think we're in the 775 range last year, I believe.
Yeah.
A little bit
Yeah.
more.
Anything else on capital budget?
From me.
We'll have those, we'll have it at next.
Oh, by the way, Hetty, the
Next
other
meeting.
thing that you should know, the library HVAC we have in there, it's not in the library, but the HVAC in the library is supposed to be upgraded. That's the, where is that? Under
Buildings and
DPW.
grounds, yeah.
The
Yeah.
TPW says,
Bottom line, upgrades to HVAC. That
oh, it says various
$100,000,
buildings. It didn't mention library specifically.
it's
Okay.
for the library.
Oh, good.
Primarily for the library, yes.
They'll be very happy.
Anything else?
Thank you, Ira, for all
You're
your work on this, and Chris.
Yes. Thank you, Budget Committee. Item number 3 is schedule updates. The only thing I have at this time is that our free rabies clinic was postponed, and it will be on March 12th from 10 to 1 p.m. at the DPW. At our next meeting, we'll have a list of our dates for the initial 100th anniversary events. So we will announce that at our next meeting. And I'll also have the date and time for the tree seedling giveaway, the Arbor Day celebration that we do every year. So we'll have Councilwoman Duffy go through the 100th anniversary dates. Is there anything else that I missed upcoming? Anyone wants to bring up? Okay. So we'll move on to item number 4, which is the administrator's report.
Thank you, Mayor. I have a very short report tonight. The COVID task force is set to meet for the month of February, this Thursday on the 17th. The budget draft for the operating budget has been sent to the auditor for it to be dropped into the budget document. And once that's complete, the committee is going to meet to review and will work on a recommendation for introduction, which needs to be by the end of March. Borough Hall is closed Monday, February 21st in observance of President's Day. And our next meeting is going to be held virtually 2 weeks from tonight on Monday, February 28th. That's it for me.
Mayor, what is the COVID situation in New Milford?
The numbers
Currently.
have been trending down. In our last 7 days, I believe our total positive confirmed cases was 21, no fatalities.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay. We have an ordinance introduction tonight, 2022:05. And when the clerk has the opportunity, I would ask her to please read the ordinance.
A capital ordinance to appropriate the sum of $196,000 for the improvement of Graphic Boulevard from Birch Avenue to Chestnut Street in, by, and for the Borough of New Milford in the County of Bergen, State of New Jersey, and providing that such sum so appropriated shall be raised from a state grant.
Yes, so this will be from a grant we received, and it will be reconstruction of streets, curbs, sidewalks, and improvements to drainage in that area. That is from Birch to Chestnut. May I get a motion to introduce this ordinance on its first reading?
Motion.
Motion. Second.
May I get a roll call, please?
Councilwoman Samuelson,
Yes.
Councilwoman Siraki Hurley,
Yes.
Councilman Grotzky,
Yes.
Councilman Seymour,
Yes.
Councilwoman Grant.
Yes,
The public hearing for this ordinance will be at our next meeting, which will be February 28th. Has everyone had an opportunity to look at the resolutions, and are there any that need to be pulled for further discussion? If not, we're going to move to going around the squares. And tonight, we're going to start with Councilman Seymour.
Thank you, Mayor. Just briefly, the Recreation Advisory Committee met and they're already hard at work planning the spring sports activities for this year. It's going to be, I'm sure, another fantastic spring season. And the Municipal Alliance will be meeting later this week to plan out this spring's activities for the borough. And those are my updates, Mayor.
Excellent. And Recreation does a fantastic job
They
all
do.
year long. So we are very lucky to have them. Councilwoman Siraki Hurley.
Thank you, Mayor.
Welcome.
It's been rather quiet, but I would like to make note that Events is working on our parade. And we've put it out on Facebook. One of the things that we're looking for are old cars. If anybody has an old car and would like to drive it through the parade, that would be great. And any other ideas, you can get in touch with our chairperson, which is Darling Minko, or myself. And also with the cemetery, because we're always looking to do things and we have a great DPW. We're having the gate that's there now moved further north, because it'll clear some of the plots that are there. And further down, it's empty. So we're working as much as possible that we can with the cemetery and bring it back. And that's about it. Thank you.
Yeah, they're moving the gate to the east.
North,
East.
that's the east.
It's east.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To the
And
other end.
also-
How's that?
They're gonna fix the
Yeah.
back gate also, and they're gonna fill in all the holes in the back. So
Yeah, well, good
get
luck
some
with
progress
those.
made on that in the
You know, they
springtime.
can, fill those holes, and I'm sure the groundhogs
Hmm.
will just dig them right up again. And we cannot touch those little groundhogs. Not at all.
I don't really want to.
You want one for a pet?
No, gotta leave them alone. But they like it there. They've been there for quite some time now.
Councilman Grotzky.
Thank you, Mayor. As I mentioned, and as Councilwoman Saraki Hurley mentioned, the cemetery is going to go through some changes. Also, very busy, as everybody here knows, with the budget, and looking forward to finalizing the operating budget come the end of March. So we'll be quite busy with that one. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. Councilwoman Sanhusen.
Thank you, Mayor. The Environmental and Energy Commission has worked closely with Millennium Strategies in this last month since we last met to submit a grant application to Sustainable Jersey. It's the PSEG Sustainability Grant. They are looking for funding. They're applying for funding for an environmental resource inventory. And there is a resolution on the agenda tonight, 2022-84. This is so on behalf of the EEC, I just want to express my gratitude to the mayor and council and to the borough administration for their continued support in the efforts to continue this project to create this environmental resource inventory. And some highlights for that, we got some letters of support from the Hackensack Riverkeeper, the New Milford School District, the New Milford Green Team, and the Bergen County Audubon Society. So there's wide community support for that project. And moving on to the Green Team, they're looking to do an energy audit, and they were thinking about beginning with Borough Hall and the police department. They would like the mayor and council. They have a question. They would like some recommendations if there was any other buildings that seemed like they needed more attention. So the energy audit is continuation of part of our Sustainable Jersey energy efficiency program. So seeing that on the capital budget that the DPW has HVAC upgrades scheduled for the library, I'm wondering if anyone has input on what would be a priority building. That's a question to you all. So.
Well,
I
I think I'm glad that the library is finally getting a new HVAC, but I certainly think that the library could do with a good review of its energy supply and use. I mean, the windows are very old, for example. So I would suggest the library.
I don't think it was that long ago we did some sort of energy audit on the Borough Hall, and the police station building went through that when it was being built, and it's not an old building. So something like the library probably hasn't had anything like that in a while.
Right. I
And
would
How
agree.
about the senior center?
That's
I
newer
would
than
put
the
that number
library.
2 on the list.
Or the DPW building. The Green Team's aim is to do energy audits for all the buildings. This is a free program, so it doesn't. What it does is it's more volunteer time consuming. So they just wanted to know how to prioritize who would need it first. That's where they're
My
looking for
opinion
some
is the
guidance.
library.
I would agree, starting with the library and the senior
Library.
center.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah.
I think the library makes sense.
I agree with the mayor. I mean, the police department, having recently been constructed, went through all that as part of the construction, and we did do something with the Borough Hall. I mean, I would like to say it was recent, but I'm saying at this point in time, it's probably a good 10 years ago at least.
And
we
that's,
did see
and it's
light
still
fixtures.
more recent than the library. They probably never did it with the library, yeah.
Absolutely, I agree. Yes.
All right, that's great. So the library, I will pass on your recommendation for the library.
And the senior center.
Thank you.
Library and the
Afterwards.
senior center. Okay.
Yes.
Sounds like a good plan.
All right, thank you. And that is my report. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Councilwoman Grant.
Thank you, Mayor. As you mentioned, the rabies clinic has been postponed until March 12th. That's a Saturday morning. The library is working on negotiating updating the contracts for the employees, which expired on December 31st. And the planning board has been very quiet, but and I don't want to steal your thunder, Councilman Seymour, but the Board of Ed approved going forward with applying for a blue marker from the Bergen County Historic Society for the old burying ground, African-American burying ground that I discovered at Gibbs School. And I am doing the work for that. So that is taking up some of my time, but it has been not only interesting, but fascinating. And I've been interviewed for several newspaper articles, and I was on a program on WOR-TV 2 Sundays ago. So it has some momentum, and I'm getting some interesting responses from people who are willing to submit letters of support for the project. This is a wonderful thing for all of New Milford, and I'm looking forward to reporting it. And it is called the burying ground as opposed to the French Huguenot cemetery. So that's one way we can distinguish it among others. So I'm looking forward to continuing with that and reporting at a
Well, it's
future
two
date.
different time periods too.
I'm
That's
sorry?
excellent. Thank
I
you
don't
for
know
your
about
hard
different
work.
time periods. We're not sure if the burying ground was old in 1883. How old, we don't know. It could certainly go back to the early 1700s. We don't know.
I believe the cemetery starts in the mid-16.
So yours is a little older
Yeah.
than mine. We're getting a little territorial here. But
We are.
but I mean, having both of them in New Milford is really phenomenal. So, and they're
It's
very
That's
great.
excellent.
I
and
mean,
they're
you know,
very different, historically different.
who's
so-
ever thought we'd be so excited about cemeteries?
Excellent. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay. So we are going to, before we open up to the public, I just want to mention to the public that when we close to the public, after we vote on our resolutions, we will go into a closed session. When we come out of closed, we will take no action and we will immediately adjourn the meeting. So at this time, I would ask for a motion to open up to the public for comment.
So moved.
Motion.
Second,
Second,
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Ladies and gentlemen of the public, the forum is yours. Give us your name and your address, and we will give you 5 minutes to discuss anything related to our community. Or if you want to talk about the Super Bowl, that's fine too. Congratulations to the Rams.
or maybe they would like to discuss the intermission or whatever it's called, the Super Bowl.
Halftime show.
Oh,
Yeah, it was halftime, all right.
No one has indicated that they wish to speak, Mayor.
Okay, at this time, I would ask for a motion to close to the public.
so moved.
So moved.
Second,
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? May I get a motion to approve resolutions 2022:76 through 2022:85?
So moved.
second,
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, once again, ladies and gentlemen of the public, this is where we are going to end and go into close. Thank you for joining us and enjoy the rest of Valentine's Day.
We need a motion.
Can I get a motion to go into closed session?
So
Motion.
moved.
motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed?
Give me 1 minute. Okay. We're ready to roll. Okay.
Still says we're live.
Yes, thank you.